particular?
Yeah. Is something going on?
Well, look who it is.
Oh, how you doing, Greg? It is Greg, right?
Yeah. So what brings you here?
I knew someone who had an office here. A woman.
A woman, not a man. Name?
What?
Her name. What is her name?
Well, it's a case. And I'm not supposed to reveal anything about my clients, remember?
So it's a client, and you can't even tell me her name?
Well, you know. So what's going on?
Well, it seems that a maid from the cleaning service found a Mr. Arthur James Taite dead in his office this morning.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
There's more. We were looking around, as we do, you know. And we found some things. Well, we found a lot of things, but we found some business cards. And one of them was yours.
Really? Well, we do get around, don't we? That card was probably just for future reference.
No. People take business cards from auto mechanics, bakers, and plumbers for future reference, not from private detectives. Or something else. Found some phone numbers written on a pad. We checked them out. One of them was to a hotel room in San Diego. A call was placed last week. We checked for occupancy, and it was you. So we know you were talking at least last week.
So what am I, a suspect? Am I supposed to know why he was murdered?
Whoa. Who said he was murdered?
Well, his heart attack then.
Look, I'm just trying to find out a few things. Thought maybe you could tell me something.
About what? A heart attack? Look, Fisk, I happen to know you work for homicide. Or did you forget that I know that?
Why can't you help us out?
About what? A heart attack? Catch your act later.
Stay.
Oh, it's you.
Yes. There's been a change in the situation. He's dead.
Who's dead?
Tate.
What? What happened?
I don't know. Homicide.
They got to him.
Apparently so.
Then it's the end of this whole case.
Well, I'll certainly have to talk to Marcus about it.
Should I prepare the closing documents for the diary floor safe?
Well, let's wait until I have a chance to confer with Marcus Novacek.
Now this is for a safe deposit box at the Coast Pacific Bank in Van Nuys. Now I know you're licensed with the Marshal Department, but for deep cover purposes, we'd like you to use a false ID. Still be a private investigator, but with a different name.
Avera.
Okay.
I followed them to the terminal and witnessed the boarding of a flight 421 to Seattle. Obviously, because there was no plan or provision for this eventuality, I couldn't proceed trailing him. Please advise.
So, you got it.
Yep, and it's no small amount either. What you got going on there?
A progress report on the Terrence Greer job? Actually, you're just in time. We're going to need your electronic signature to close the case.
Yeah, as soon as I put this thing down. Brendan and Jessica aren't back yet?
No.
I'm gonna need all hands on deck with this thing. Okay, follow me, both of you. Well, I hope you two have had an easy time of it so far because we're going into the night with this thing.
Me too?
Yes. Now, I would say let's take a dinner break, but I think it would be better if we just order in, then we can get out of here that much sooner.
Which will be...
We'll have to play that as it comes.
Yeah.
That's the content list.
Yeah, I have to-
I've
I can
categorized
just hear.
16 specific
Okay.
details to be looked at from what we have here.
Good.
I'll need you to look at it and let me know if it's all in order.
I'll do that. Tomorrow.
Okay.
What? Cops. Oh, it's you. Are you following me? What do you want, Fisk?
We've been going over all the angles on this Taite thing. There's still quite a few holes that need to be filled. Anyway, what it all boils down to is this. You're going to come in to talk to us tomorrow morning.
What?
10 or 11 o'clock will be fine. Good morning.
Morning.
Coffee?
Am I going to need a lawyer?
You're not a suspect. Anaphylaxis, the apparent cause of Tate's death. Anaphylaxis, an extreme allergic reaction to a substance or combination of substances. In this case, figs, the fruit. What did you know about Tate's condition?
I didn't know. I didn't know he had such a condition.
Naturally, it's going to take some time for a full tox report to come back, but the coroner's office was able to determine that Tate had an attack, applied the antidote, administered via an EpiPen, it's a pre-measured syringe, but it had no effect, and no such medicine was found in his body. What do you make of that? Water. It is believed in the coroner's office that water was substituted for the antidote.
So he was murdered then.
That is the direction we're moving in. You knew him. Do you have any idea who may have done this? What about members of your staff? I mean, do you think they would know?
No.
Look, I know you don't want to say much about your case.
Can't say. It's the law, remember?
Okay. But understand, I'm working a very serious deal here, all right? Homicide on someone that you knew. Now, we're questioning his family and friends, but I think that this had something to do with his work on the newspaper. I also think that you and perhaps members of your staff were conducting an investigation for him.
What's all this newspaper stuff you're talking about? Okay, so if he owned a dry cleaning business and we were following his wife around, what would that seem to mean to you? That we're checking up on his dry cleaning competitors? Something else, you know that?
So you're not conducting an investigation for the newspaper?
No, we're not conducting an investigation for anyone, not anymore. With him gone, we're not getting paid. We don't have taxpayers to foot the bill in our line of work. No client, no pay, case closed. You know, it's very nice of you to see me to the door, Fist, but I'm pretty sure I can find my way out.
A truce. Get back to us on whatever you find out about Tate's operation, and we'll let you know what we find out from the coroner's office.
Two things. He was our client, so we can find out whatever we want from the coroner's office. And two, he's no longer our client.
Here it is. All right. Yeah, this place will do just fine. Good. You really a cop? Detective. Sergeant. Oh, and this is for you. Why don't you count it?
Some other time.
Well, in 6 months there'll be another one, just like that, as we agreed.
And the other thing?
What other thing?
Well, the other guy, the police officer, the lieutenant. You said I'd pull in another 2% for whatever you put in here. You know, once you count everything up.
Yeah, sure. But just you remember, once this place is full, if Eternal Affairs or the Feds show up, you keep your mouth shut, or your life won't be worth a jar of worm snot.
Yeah, I know.
All right then. Well, we got places like this all over. You'll be well fed. I promise.
I'm back from lunch.
Oh, good. Robert and Brandon are on their surveillance rendezvous, and Charles still isn't back yet.
Goodness. Anyone call?
Yeah, that's why I'm glad you're back. A guy called wanting a detective on the Taite case. He is having me go. The First Faith Assembly of God Church, 15211 Brimble Avenue.
Oh, you're going over there.
Yeah.
Oh, be careful. There's something slippery about this case.
Well, that's why I wrote down the address for you. It's on your desk. If you don't hear from me in an hour and a half, send reinforcements. Hello? Paul?
Yeah.
I'm from ENC.
I was expecting two of the other guys.
Well, it's me.
This is on behalf of the Alta Tate case.
Oh, good. So you want us to continue then? My bosses aren't going to continue though unless there's further payment. Okay.
That Guzman case I was working on is wrapped. Remember the secretary who swore up and down that the Guzman wasn't having an affair with the ad exec, Paula Castez?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she was right. Turns out that clown was doing it with the secretary and the ad exec. Curious, isn't it, how these people have these security cameras so they can catch thieves? Forget that the cameras can see everything. Welcome back.
Oh. Did you find Jesus?
Almost.
You talked to somebody about the Tate job at a church?
Okay, it's pretty much a dead issue. Because I'm making an executive decision on this. If we don't get paid, it's over. $10,000. Where'd you get this?
From the guy.
Maybe this guy stole a big chunk of money from the collection plate at the church.
All right. What did he say?
That was the strange part. All he did was hand it to me and say, "This is on behalf of the Arthur Tate case."
Maybe this guy doesn't know that Tate is dead.
I guess we're moving right along. We're getting paid. Whoever tried to end this thing by killing Tate has failed.
Oh, what if they try to stop you using the same method?
Well, they'll have to find us first. We're the secret face on this operation, remember?
Okay. I'll deposit the check.
So, what's our next move?
We still have that stack of papers to go through.
And eventually I'll have that chat with Novacek.
Yeah, I see what you mean about this Tamarin class woman. She's all over it.
That's what it shows in my computer.
Go into your system and prepare a separate background on her. See what you find out.
It seems like all of these are based on police files of commercial burglaries.
Yeah, I see that.
And take a look at the property report of what was stolen.
Yeah, business files stolen out of file cabinets, business data stolen out of computer disks, stolen from thumb drives. Look at this. Whole computers are stolen.
What about the couple in the newspaper? These two died in a car crash in New Orleans. And then we have these pictures.
Let's see. Oh, that's related to Tamarin Class in New Orleans.
Notice that these warehouse, office, and factory break-ins are all followed by police investigation with no follow-up.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, like here, here, and here.
Yeah. There are a couple with follow-up, but most...
Yeah, I did see that. And I thought I was just missing something, that the follow-up was in some other report.
No, there's something weird going on here. Yeah, those notes you have are good as a starting point, but we're going to have to really get on this to make an investigation if we're going to solve it.
You're here awfully early.
So are you. Yeah. Marjorie isn't even here yet.
If you're here this early, it means that something's kept you up all night.
Maybe.
So which is it? Some mental block or something inspirational? I've read it. 2 college students from the University of Shreveport lose control of their car. 2 drunk college students during spring break in New Orleans. Crash over an embankment and into Lake Pontchartrain. Dead.
Well, the victims were roughly the same age as Tamron Class. From the same school, from the same time period.
So this Class woman, you really think that she's important?
Tate seemed to think so.
And the two kids in the car crash?
He seemed to think they were important too. Though I think it had nothing to do with their demise. God, what a waste.
Good morning. You're here early. You made coffee?
We're perfectly able to, you know.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
You were going to compile some exclusive information on Tamron Class.
I did.
And?
It's a dead end. Tate was supposed to find her to interview about something, but I guess he never got the chance. And he didn't seem to know where she was either. She could be anywhere.
Monica Soren. Yeah. Sent him into CR2, and I have a meeting scheduled at 11:20 here. I don't want anyone else in here until then. Good morning. I'm Monica Soren.
I'm Brandon Chadwick.
Please, have a seat.
Thank you.
So, you are still interested in this escapade?
As long as it pays.
You did receive a check.
Yes, but we have a lot of mouths to feed and $10,000.
That was just an installment. We'd like you to continue with what you're doing.
We?
Myself, and one other person.
Just what are we doing?
Detective work, Mr. Chadwick. You're the detective. If I knew how to perform that sleuth work of hodgepodge of papers that Arthur left, we wouldn't need to pay you, would we?
And this pay that you speak of?
$100,000 flat. Minus the 10 you already received, that is.
Why would the newspaper shell out so much money for what I assume to be just a news story?
Arthur was in charge of a general news release on a story he was working on. In addition to that, he was going to prepare a more expensive write-up in the City Watch magazine, in the weekend edition. There was also talk of him writing a book on the subject, alongside some established author.
Does this author have a name?
In due time, Mr. Chadwick. All in due time.
Well, Wade, I see you're still up to maintaining your reputation as a real killer.
That's the rep to have in this line of work.
Let's see. I'm up 16 to 13.
Lieutenant Fisk?
That would be me.
Oh, Captain Shannon would like to see you immediately after you're done here.
That would be him.
What do you think about Owen Quinn? Since I got the four of you guys set to head the precinct sections, I decided to make life just a little easier on myself by asking each of you to make an honest assessment on the other three. After all, you're not competing for the same post. I just gotta hear what you gotta say. In the end, one way or the other, I'm making the decision, and I'll let everyone in the facility know why.
Quinn. Well, he's certainly solid. I've known him since we both came up for the sergeant's exam. And when Martin and I were working teams, Quinn and Spinell were good guys to have around.
So I heard you're on the range this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
How'd you do?
Good. I like to stay proficient.
Good job. We don't like to hear stories about our guys having to pull their equipment out of the bag. Worse yet, that they had to use it. But when you do, it doesn't pay to miss.
No, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Martin Garris of the Southern Central Louisiana region of the Internal Revenue Service. We understand that Kaylin Adrian Rameau has utilized the tuition loan package through the university? Yes. Yes. I was attempting to ascertain the latest address that you have for Ms. Rameau. Yes, I will. Yeah, my ID number is 44181. Thank you. Yes, yes, I will. Okay. The Seacrest condo, you said number 11, 362 Ocean Boulevard. Wait a second. Long Beach, California, 90802. Thank you very much. You've been a very big help. You have a good day, sir. After all, everybody comes to California. Yeah, we're really in luck. Ms. Rameau lives just up the road a piece in downtown Long Beach.
Time in class, friend. No phone number?
No phone number. I got an address.
Sounds like you're onto something. In fact, if you don't find her today, go straight over there from home tomorrow morning.
I see. When? A couple of years. Well, that's good, isn't it? All right. Bye.
Okay, I'm ready to dictate the closing on the Guzman extramarital.
All right. That was Robert. It is Kaylin Rameau in Long Beach, but she had lost contact with Tamron class.
Damn. What's that?
We got some alternate IDs on Tamron class. Jessica and I are working on it.
Oh.
What do you think? I think that's it, don't you? Michelle Seeley, student loans.
I thought we'd already established that her last loan was paid off in Shreveport 3 years ago.
Yes, but I just discovered that her very last check came from Long Beach, California, whereas all the previous checks came from Louisiana.
So we went through the DMV and all the other incidentals, and what we found was Michelle Seeley.
Michelle is her middle name. Seeley is her mother's maiden name. 23114 Santa Paula Avenue, Mar Vista, California, 90066.
Now, if this is her, and she's using a fake name, it means...
She's hiding from someone. Well, I'm going over there. Correction. We're going over there.
I wasn't gonna talk to you at first when you were at the door, but then you mentioned the car crash, and it got me thinking about Joy and Rory. Rory Pepin and Joy Perrin were classmates at the university. They,
Yes, we read an old newspaper article that Arthur Tate had about the accident in New Orleans.
Accident? I'd almost forgotten that that's what they called it. The press and the authorities.
You obviously think it otherwise.
Well, yes, with everything that was going on. You are looking into their deaths, aren't you? Arthur said that he would.
Well, yes, of course. That and everything else. You'll be anonymous.
Is that what you think? Why are you doing this anyway? I mean, what's in it for you?
Well, we're in business. There's a little money.
There would have to be a lot of money if I were you. There must be a lot behind you to take on a mob of crooked cops. I hate to think of the two of you doing it alone. They killed Joy and Rory. They killed Arthur. And they'll have no qualms about killing you.
Joy and Rory were murdered? And Arthur told you this?
Yeah, that's right.
How did you come to meet Arthur?
He came to New Orleans probing around just like you.
And this was before you graduated from the university?
Just before, yes.
If I may ask, how and why did he find you? What's your role in all of this?
I'm going to need something stronger. Want some vodka?
Just one. I'm driving. Thank you. Now, Joey and Rory, they were criminal justice majors?
Yep, that's right. They were planning on going to law school, the whole 9 yards.
Do you think they knew anything about the corruption going on in the New Orleans Police Department?
Oh, yeah. They found out about all of it. Those cops, I mean.
How do you know it was the cops? And how do you know the car accident wasn't an accident?
Well, they started getting phone calls. Threatening phone calls.
Well, it's not that we don't believe you, but these callers, surely they didn't identify themselves as being with the police department, did they?
Well, no, but the threatening callers were insisting that they cease snooping into their business.
What business?
The theft business. Look, I don't need this from you. If you're not going to believe me, for one thing, this is really dangerous for me.
All right. Look, we're just trying to know precisely what we're getting ourselves into, as you yourself said.
I'm sorry. It's just that, well, maybe you're used to walking headlong into danger. Maybe you live that way, but it doesn't sit particularly well with me. I'm only doing it for the memory of Joy and Rory.
Do you trust me?
Then I can tell you we've found considerable evidence for the existence of a large corrupt gang operating with the New Orleans Police Department. And not only there, but here, in Los Angeles as well, in several major cities. It's some sort of large operation. Drugs, property, and identity theft.
What's on your mind now, Gordon?
Look, I've been hearing stuff.
You're always hearing stuff.
Well, about Arthur Tate.
Haven't you heard? Arthur Tate is still dead, which makes him a non-issue.
Well, I'm still hearing stuff. All these rumors.
Rumors? Look, Fisk is on this detail, which means nothing will ever come of it.
Yeah? Well, I heard that there was a private eye working with Tate, and that he probably knows as much as Tate did. Look, you seem to forget that this operation is spread out over 4 states, and that makes it federal.
We've been doing this for 6 years. Nothing has stopped us yet, and nothing is going to stop us. You worry too much.
You're just gonna let all of this rest on Fisk and Captain Shannon.
I'm counting on it. You let me worry about it. We couldn't find this Tamron class bitch, and she was the only loose end I was worried about. As long as she's sufficiently spooked to stay out of the picture, everything works. Our friends in New Orleans will find her and deal with her permanently.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Captain Roger Shannon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Lieutenant Fisk.
Good afternoon, Brandon Chadwick.
Sorry to inconvenience you. I know you must be quite busy.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Can we get you something? Water, coffee?
Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you.
I know that your code of ethical practice requires that you reveal very little about your clients, whether it is or was the newspaper or the deceased personally. However, in the interest of serving the general public or serving the course of justice, we are from our end required to glean whatever we can from you regarding the death of Arthur Taite, a homicide.
Charles, you denied still being on an investigation for the newspaper.
Well, that was at the time emphatically correct. We had no reason to believe we would continue with this thing, that we would receive payment to continue with this thing.
May we ask who's paying you now?
The newspaper.
Do you believe the deceased may have been murdered? Murdered due to the contents of this investigation that you're also involved in?
Possibly.
Let's face it, you're not used to real danger in your line of detective work.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we're always faced with the prospect of some irate ex-spouse storming into the office with a gun. And occasionally we do serve as bounty hunters for the marshal's office, remember?
Well, I think that you've bitten off something that's going to be really tough to chew this time.
Actually, we've come a long way in piecing together the whole job.
Can you enlighten us on what this is?
Yes.
But you're not going to like it.
Considering it involves homicide, I generally don't.
Oh. 6 years ago, in New Orleans,
there was this large interstate law enforcement convention. Conferences about policies, procedures, and etc.
Yeah, you know, I remember. I wasn't there myself, but yeah, go on.
Well, while this was going on, 2 idealistic criminal justice undergraduates from the University of Shreveport,
Rory Pepin and Joy Perrin.
Yes. These 2 discovered that there was a large organized criminal gang operating within a number of law enforcement departments across several states.
Discovered? Discovered how?
Well, from the 2 students interviewing several prostitutes in the French quarter of the city.
What? Are you trying to be funny?
No.
Let me get this straight in my head. You're saying that you, or rather these 2 students, are implicating a whole group of cops of operating an interstate criminal gang, and their information comes from some prostitutes? What, were these prostitutes under arrest?
Initially.
What?
Initially, the information came from interviews from an admittedly dubious source.
Go on.
Anyway, this law enforcement conference, as it happens, coincided with the spring break period. You know, New Orleans, spring break, the French Quarter, all the college students. Anyway, a few of these cops, while away from the convention site, recreated in some of the local bars, restaurants, and clubs. And a few, largely discreetly, found their way to a small, dimly lit house with 19th century decor that catered to lonely conventioners, shall we say.
So you're saying that these cops visited this, for the lack of a better word, a brothel?
Yes.
And after having a few drinks earlier in the evening, or what may be their third or fourth visit to the place during the course of the week, they began to become a little loose with their secrets. Especially after seeing the same women repeatedly.
First of all, these people were in New Orleans, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you interview these people here or in Louisiana?
Actually, those interviews, those are the two students, was conducted by Arthur Tate.
Oh, I see. So this is hearsay.
You seem to forget that you called us here. I assumed to find out about Arthur Tate's work and what may have led to his death.
The real lead that we acquired came from a particular informant. And she told us that the criminal justice students in Louisiana, killed in the automobile crash soon after having discovered the police corruption activity, had been murdered after receiving a number of telephone threats from those involved in the corruption. And we've conducted our own probe into these allegations and have found, we believe, enough to warrant a closer look into the deaths of the car crash victims, and much, much more.
Oh, you said you had your own lead, one that came from a particular source.
A woman. Someone you've obviously spoken to directly. Who is she?
Where is she?
We don't know.
You don't know?
That's right.
We did. We did months ago in New Orleans, but now we have no idea where she is.
A meeting with Captain Shannon? It's obviously important. Who are they?
A couple of private eyes that have been working with my murder victim, Arthur Tate.
You were right. There were private detectives working with Tate, 2 of them. We've got to take turns watching them from now on. Who knows what they knew? Or what they're saying?
I had no idea you would find out so much. Arthur had his suspicions, but you've managed to dig it all out.
Yeah, it's all falling into place. Although it'll have to be determined which of these people is innocent and which are guilty. Of course, the FBI will deal with that.
For so long, I was afraid, living in fear, especially after what happened to Joy and Rory. All I could do was run away, but knowing it was only a matter of time until they found me anyway. And who could I turn to? Certainly not the cops. How could I possibly know that an officer I was talking to was one of them? I want to thank you. Poor Arthur. He was really onto something. And Joy and Rory, and it killed them.
Well, this isn't going to happen with us. We're almost home. Almost. Okay, well, I'm going to have to get going.
All right. Goodbye, and thanks again.
All right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, all right. Well, the four of us are going to have a quick investigators meeting.
Right, we'll lock up and set the alarm in 20 minutes or so.
Bye.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
So this Detective Fisk and Captain Shannon, what if they're in on the whole thing?
Yeah, well, then what do we do? I mean, we're keeping our eye on Fisk and some of the others that he's especially close to, but we can't watch them all.
Well, we're certainly not about to turn it over to the FBI, the Attorney General's office, until we've sewn this thing up enough to lay claim to this, to our investigation, to us having solved it.
Yeah. Dangerous though it may be. And at one point, I'll bring Tamron Class into the light, either at Chief Shannon's office or Neil Soren at the newspaper.
Brandon, hello. I followed one of those cops to what seems to be a warehouse of some kind. I don't know, he took in some boxes. It's in downtown LA. Okay, I'll follow him if he decides to leave here.
This is Charles. She's gone. I'm here at Tamron Class apartment. The door was ajar. There are signs of a struggle. I was going to take her to my place to hide her, but they've gotten to her.
Sure no one saw you?
What do you think? What are we gonna do with her?
First, we're gonna find out if she's talked to Fisk or Captain Shannon. Or anyone else in the department. I don't know yet. We have to wait till Hart gets here. Then I'll decide what to do.
Another one, Brandon. Another one of those cops has shown up. He has a woman with him. She's bound and gagged. Wait. Yes, it must be her. Well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm just gonna sit tight until he gets here. Hello. Yes. Avenue J to the left. Do you see me? Park over there so they won't hear you.
Can't believe I'm actually packing a gun against fellow cops.
I've got an idea then. Just go in there and get your ass blown away. Hey, those guys in there are not your pals in blue. They took that girl in there tonight, and we're going to get her out of there tonight.
They are in there. The problem is that we just can't see inside.
Yeah, damn it. We can't just go barging in. We don't know what they do to her.
What makes you think they'll do anything? I mean, they're cops.
Tonight they're not. And plus, she's a witness to everything, even murder.
Are you sure she was bound and gagged? I mean, it's pretty dark.
It wasn't dark when they dragged her in there. Let's go.
Is there any other way in?
No, I walked all around the building. It's too small for there to be.
I'm here. I'm just outside.
Don't move! Get your hands up. Get inside. Get in! Don't do it, man. You're not gonna make it.
You can't get us all.
Well, I can get you.
Hold it, Larry. Don't make me do it. Back off! Back off! Cut it, Larry. It's over.
Yeah, let her go.
Not gonna happen. What are you doing here, Fisk? God damn it! I'll do it. Put your guns down. I can't miss.
It's over, Larry. Captain Shannon knows everything.
Harming her isn't going to do anything for you.
Give it to me. Who has the keys to these handcuffs? Back up. Back up.
Oh, it's over, sweetheart. They can't hurt you anymore. Wait a minute.
That's definitely the case here, Len, with this dramatic turn of events. Okay, here's Captain Shannon.
You learned of this activity? A few days ago, before you, a few days ago.
Okay. Chief Fields is in Sacramento. He's still in Sacramento. When's he due to return?
Chief Fields is actually returning this afternoon, and he's been totally briefed on everything.
Why didn't he return immediately?
Well, he wanted to stay and confer with governor and cabinet about this matter event.
Okay. How is it possible that this is nationwide?
It's not nationwide. It's only a few states.
And so when will we be hearing about how that's possible?
Once they get all their facts together, I'd say in the next several weeks, we'll know. Up to that point, it's just, a guess. It's anybody's guess, and I'd rather stay away from guessing.
Please go on, dear.
It was Joy and Rory that found out about everything, as I said before.
Well, as you said before, they would not drive a car intoxicated.
That's right. neither of them were really very much into drinking to begin with. They'd have a couple beers, but they were never into heavy drinking, even at parties. And they would never get themselves wasted and get behind the wheel of a car. Not those two. That's why when we heard about it, all of us that knew them were immediately suspicious.
You know, I've tried for so long to be a good police officer, but I suppose this whole mess is going to collapse all over me.
Well, maybe if it were only this department. But the fact that it's so big reflects on how little control you had over the whole thing.
I know it's a financial issue for your firm, but once you've sorted through it enough to get what you're after, do you think you could supply us with the information that we need to put our shattered house back together, whether it's with me or a successor?
We'll do what we can.
You once asked me how much we were being paid by our employers. It's $100,000. Oh, also a book deal in the mix. I'll see you later.